Welcome, my queen, to the Spiritual Millionaire podcast. I'm your host, Maiken Bering Larsen, and I'm a two-time best-selling author. I am a clairvoyance healer and business educator, and then I'm spiritual as fuck, just as you. So I'm here to guide you into a natural state of abundance in a new height and depth, because there's always a new level. I'm not only here to share my point of sight, but also to share all the lovely spiritual millionaire out there who is ready to let me pick their brain so you can hear from the experts themselves. So, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you boss up. I hope you tap into your spiritual business beyond the legacy of your dreams. So, without further ado, let's just get started with today's episode.
All right, welcome people to this episode of my little podcast. I am thrilled. I have been waiting for this moment, for this day to happen, because I have Mike Radoor on my podcast today. And I am so excited. I can't wait to just pick his brain on how the hell did he become who he is today. But first of all, to all the listeners out there, Mike, will you tell me on your own words, who are you?
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much. Um, who am I? Well, I am who I choose to be. I am who I choose to be. So I choose to be a giving person, a loving person, a disciplined person, a passionate person, um, a driven person, a spiritual person. I'm a father. I do have titles that people have given me. I've built some companies, which has been doing well internationally. And today I'm more in a seek of building an international coaching brand, right? So I just have a new book that came out 2 weeks ago in English. Yeah, I think I'm a kid in an adult man's body. That's who I really am. I'm playing the game of life.
I love that. I truly love that. And I think most people know you for somehow. I have followed you for a long time. So I also know every time I got a guest on this podcast, everyone has a story. So what's your background? Why do you do what you do today?
That's a big question. Yeah. What's my background? Well, I'll try to summarize it and make it short so I don't bore the listeners too much. But I'm raised and born in a smaller city in Denmark called Odense. In a working class family, I grew up with my mom and dad getting separated when I was around 9, 10 years old. And my dad has been fighting with some mental health issues. And my mom had fought with some economy when they split up. The classical, hey, I was struggling as a kid story. But I didn't notice it much because you just get used to it, right? You get used to it, and that is your environment. So I grew up in an environment that had a little bit more challenges that maybe many other kids have. And definitely when I changed my environment, when I changed friends and I changed school, I was being bullied a lot. I had a lot of fire. In Denmark, that directly translated from Danish, you will say I have fire in my ass, but that sounds really weird in English. But I had a lot of energy, and I got bullied a lot, and was struggling a lot as a kid to feel accepted, and that became kind of a drive for me. So I was trying to get people to love me by doing something. That was a drive that really took over and it really put me into great positions in my later life. And that drive turned into more of a life purpose. So instead of being recognized and be accepted of people, I switched it. I transmuted it. So instead of just dropping that tremendous energy it has, I kind of found another way that made it more positive and loving. So I transmuted that into, I wanted to inspire people. Instead of being accepted, let me inspire you. And that's what I do today. So I grew up in a smaller city. And when I was around 19, 20, I moved to Copenhagen overnight. I started being a bartender in a nightclub, and sooner or later I was promoted as the manager, and I did that for a small 9 months. And that was a time where one of our greatest DJs in Denmark's history, Morten Breum, he was my house DJ, right? We had some good times there. And there I met a lot of interesting people, and some of them became one of my angel investors in my first company called Minto. And we built a great company. I was there for 7 years. We took it from, and I don't know if we can do this in euros and Danish kroner, but we took it from 0 to 1 billion Danish kroner. That's around, what, 100 million euros, around a little bit more, 140 million euros in revenue. And then I left and I sold my shares and I went to New York and I created another company called Playbook App. And then I was looking for love. So I went back to Sweden and created another company. And I was there for 4 or 5 years. And then my passion started to kind of call on me. So I stopped working as a tech entrepreneur and a founding CEO and whatever role I could give myself. And I pursued one of my biggest passions, which is helping people to get what they want. And I started teaching people how to get the body that they wanted. I didn't have any educations for that. I'd just been self-studying and living a quite healthy lifestyle myself. And that business took off in Denmark. And within a year, we were one of the biggest coaching businesses in Denmark when it comes to lifestyle changes. And then my passion took me on another path, which was I wanted to teach people mindset, because I figured out that it's never the fucking workout plan. It's never the fucking diet plan. People, they don't really use it. And I just figured it's more about knowing who you are and who you want to be and the commitment you go into life with. So I started that business. And before I looked around, I wrote an English book. And now I'm here in your studios.
I love it. I freaking love it because every time I feel like, okay, there's so much in common with who I talk with. And I love the shift in you where you realized it's not about the diet. It's not about what we're doing in the workout room. It's about the mindset. That's a
Yeah.
huge shift, but I think it's so inspiring as you want to hear your whole story of how huge a entrepreneur you actually are. I did not know that because I followed you from when you started with the body and the mindset and all that. So it's
Yeah.
right. I love to hear the whole story. There's a lot to it, but also for me, I see that even though you grew huge business, at some point you found your passion. It's like you found your fire. You found your reason why you had fire in the butt, if you want to say so.
Yeah. The butt is a good one, right?
Yeah, when you are dating, what it means, but
Yeah.
maybe all other people just, what the fuck?
Yeah. What do you mean fire in your butt? That doesn't sound good.
Exactly. I don't want that. But anyways, what I love about that journey, well, very compromise, not compromised. You know what I want to say. Don't remember.
Yeah. Compromise. It is compromise. It is. It was a long story explained short.
Exactly that. Thank you for that one. At some point, I feel like you had a awakening. You can call it spiritual or you can call it whatever you want, but do you recall that exact moment for you? What happened?
Yeah, I've had many. I've had a lot.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of awakenings. So I've um so I what had happened was when I was living in Stockholm and I sold my shares of Minto, which gave me a quite nice million digit number of euros. I always wanted to be a rock star. And I was living like a rock star. Like I was living like a rock star. I partied a lot. I was together with a lot of women. I didn't give a flying fuck. And I kind of lost connection with my soul, so to say. And there was an episode where I'm together with a very, 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 very beautiful and super nice and very famous Swedish girl. And she was my girlfriend. And we've been together for 2 years. And 2 or 3 years, and my rock star period started in the middle of that, and I cheated on her. I cheated on her, and when that happened, she was in a big TV show which was about dancing, a dancing TV show on national TV in Sweden. And in that TV show, she breaks down and she tells Sweden about what I did, and I was home with her parents in the couch. And that was very painful for me to get busted, so to say. But the biggest pain and my biggest awakening there was that I couldn't look myself in the mirror anymore. I did not like what I saw. I did not like what I did to other people. I did not like that I hurt her. I did not like myself. And that was my first kind of wake up call. Hey, dude, what are you doing? And then again, I didn't quite let go of that rock star. I continued. Single though. I was single. And then I had another one, which was after a party. I've probably been taking every substance you can take, probably, probably. And I've been having the most fun parties and the most crazy parties, and I've been doing all that. But it came a point where I just couldn't look myself in the mirror doing that. And that was another awakening. And at that time, I had been coached by a spiritual guy in Denmark called Jesper Vestmark, and he gave me a lot of insights to actually listen to myself. So what happened was I was in Stockholm, and I woke up and I felt that I'm not who I pretend to be. I'm not who I pretend to. I'm playing one big gallery. I don't know who I am, and I don't like myself. I literally don't like myself. So I decided to move away from that environment, and I moved to Spain. To start from scratch, which of course I didn't. So I went to Spain and I met this who is the mother to my child now, and I was madly in love with her. Um, and we had a good time together too, but we also partied a little bit together. And I wasn't quite awoke there, but I did come a long way. But my biggest awakening was when I had an 8-hour session in Denmark with one of my mentors, Klaus Weile. And he invited me there for 8 hours, where I had a body therapist and I had a frequency specialist. It was a spiritual, crazy, shake me the fuck up experience on a totally natural, no substances used at all. And I was tired. I was tired, and I flew back to Spain. And the next day, I'm laying on the beach with my ex, which is the mother to my child. And I'm laying there, and she brought some weed. Right at that time, I thought weed was very innocent. It's nature. I like that. I think that's funny. We could do that once in a while. And I decided, okay, let me do that. Let's lay here on this beach, enjoy the day, enjoy the life. And what happens there is that I have an anxiety attack coming to me, so extremely powerful when I'm laying in that bed. And this was the day after I had this other healing process. But right before the anxiety attack, I kind of go straight back to when I was a kid. And I remember when I was a kid, I never remembered this before. I remember when I was a kid and I was just laying on the beach with my parents, and I was completely observing what was around me. I was observing everything. I wasn't judging. I wasn't thinking, just observing the sound of the oceans, the conversations over there. And I wasn't even thinking who's talking, why are they talking, what are they talking about, is the water cold, or is it what? I was just observing. And right when that happens, my anxiety comes. And something in me says, Mike, if you don't do something now, you're going to end up crazy like your dad. And that's probably been my biggest fear in life. And somehow I was ready to face it. So I just said, bring it. And imagine I'm laying on this beach and I'm not saying anything. I'm 189 big, I'm well trained, and my ex-girlfriend at that time lays next to me. And I'm like, please hold it together, Mike, hold it together. So I was laying like this. If you can't see me here, I was literally laying there stiff, afraid of what's going to happen. And I let go. And there I experienced my first ego death. I had an ego death right there. I was reborn right there on that beach that day. And I wake up and it's just like I wake up in a new world. Like I'm not hallucinating. I see everything the same. But my way of seeing it was, I was so happy. I could see everything so clear. And, I woke up big time. And that was my biggest awakening, which made me do a lot of big changes in my life. And since then, I've just been exploring that spiritual side and been diving deeper into it. And my book that I just wrote has a lot of spirituality in it. And I've been seeking God, so to say, a lot more. And you can call him God, you can call him universe, you can call him whatever you want to call him. Your God, is your God, but I'm seeking something higher. And that's the path I'm on now. It's been a long one.
I love it. I love it. I truly love it, because there's always a reason why we do this and we start this and we get the awakening. It's because we move away from something. And I totally understand what you say. It can sound freaky for some, but I totally get it. And I had a similar, not coincidence, but a similar scene to that, where I just looked myself in the mirror after a rough weekend of healing and all that. And I could not recognize myself. So I understand what you say, when the world is the same, but I see it different now. And we can have that multiple times in our life. But once you have that experience, what we talk about here, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's right. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Exactly.
And I started to ask myself some more deeper questions, and for once in my life, I really started to commit to being who I wanted to be. And that has changed my life dramatically, dramatically. And it's an ongoing journey, but I believe that spirituality just means waking up, actually. That's what it means. Spirituality means waking up. And I believe that most people, they are born asleep, right? And they are raised asleep. They grow up asleep. They choose their career asleep. They choose their friends asleep. They choose their marriage asleep, and they die asleep. I believe in that. And that's why when I woke up and I pushed my boundaries so hard away from who I actually was that I had to wake up. And that was a rebirth, which is also something the Bible writes about. Before you can be reborn, you have to die. All right. And I literally died on that beach. My old me died. It just literally died. And then I woke up and, I couldn't figure out what's now. So yeah, it's been quite fascinating.
It is. It truly is. I love that story. And also, as you say, it goes on. It's forever. We can do these changes and evolving ourselves. But you said a word. You said commitment.
Yeah.
I believe that's a huge part of just going anywhere. We got to commit to it because it's not easy. It's not fun all the time. And it's not just happening overnight, even though we can change who we are inside. So I think at that part, you discovered that commitment is a core factor for you.
It's everything.
It is.
Commitment is everything.
It is. Truly is. I totally agree. And how are you using that today? If the listeners out there think, yeah, commitment, but how do I do? What do I do? What is your advice?
Yeah, so I can give my advice, but I believe you need to be on some kind of a mental, spiritual plan for really getting this right. And we all hit, most people have to hit the rock bottom to commit to something. But so I believe that people have always ask me very often, Mike, how does people change? Because I've tried to change so much and I don't change. And I believe the answer is, well, when the pain is bigger of being where you are than versus the pain you have to go through to become who you want to become, that's when you move. True. That's when you move. So for me, and commitment was all about, which I also learned in the last couple of years, that I can decide who I want to be every single day. I can literally decide who I want to be. But it has to be a conscious decision. So what I decided to was to write down what I was committed to. For example, I'm committed to being the world's best coach. I'm committed to be the world's best father. I'm committed to be the world's best friend. I'm committed to be the best son in the world. I'm committed to, and all these commitments means changes. So to be the best father in the world, I need to be there. I need to be present. I need to be the best absolute fucking version of me before I can be the best father. I need to really think about my decisions. That takes a humongous amount of courage to do so. All right. So when you really commit yourself to something, it works like a black hole. Then things you want is just drawn to you. It's just drawn. It just works like a black hole, and it just opens up for you. But you really gotta understand what commitment means. There is not, for example, you can't dig a half hole, right? You can't make a woman half pregnant. There is no half-sized planets. Everything is round. It's a hole or not. So you're either committed or you're not. And that's where we humans are born with some kind of self-sufficiency where we can excuse ourselves. So for example, if I say on a scale from 1 to 10, on the absolute best version of you, where are you on that scale? People will say, I'm on an 8. So you're not the best version of you. That's what I translated it to. You're not. And people are like, oh, what do you mean? But you're not. If you're an 8, you're not a 10. And you need to be a 10 before you are. This is just a trick. So you either are or you're not. When I realized that, that's when I realized, fuck, I just got to take these decisions every single fucking day. That's what I do every day. Take these extreme commitments. And you can call it extreme. It's either or. It's not extreme. It's a commitment or it's not. Same people say, okay, I want to raise my standards. Okay, once in a while, that's not raising your standards. And to get to that level, I believe you need some coaching. to get to that level. You need some life experiences that forces you to go that way. It can either make you or break you, or you need some coaching where the coach can ask you questions and really know who you are. A coach that can see through you, a coach that listens and hears everything you're telling, but actually hears what you're thinking. And that kind of coaching I've gotten from some of the best in the world.
I know that, and that's why I truly love to just pick your brain, because it's pure gold, this. And I believe that it can also be a combo, that we are in a position where it either make or break us, and that pushes us towards something where we hopefully take the right choice to say, hey, I need a coach or a mentor or something to get through this in a maybe a slight easier way, because some things we just
will never be easy. It's a fucking bumpy road. And you gotta, it is. And that's there will never be an easier way. That's also why, when I coach people one-on-one, I never do it online, for example. I always ask them to come down to me and fly down to me. I'm fucking expensive. And, I need a full commitment before they come here. Otherwise, I can't change them. All right. And it's a bumpy ride. It is a bumpy ride because you have to let go of who you are. You got to die, not die physically, but your sense of self has to die. You have to kill it and wake up and make completely new decisions in everything you do. And I'm not the kind of coach that says, I'm okay about you doing it Monday, but not Tuesday. I'm not, because you need to do it. And when we do this, you do it fully hearted. All right. And there's a saying, I just wrote that down here the other day. And I really like that. I just want to read that loud for you because I was preparing this for a podcast, because there's a powerful statement in the 2 Corinthians in the Bible, 2-3 page, which is the 1462, that offers like an excellent instruction on what you can do with this powerful commitment that you are going to make. All right, whatever you make. And the scripture reads, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not in tables of stone, but in the fleshy tables of the heart. So the point it is that when you make a commitment, you need to take that written and sink it into your fleshy tables of your heart. All right. So you need to take it into you. You need to let it just fill you up. And that I wrote that down because, when one is committed, the world finds its way to that commitment. I just told you, it's like a black hole, and everything you need, find your way to the commitment. And it's heavier than gravity. It's heavier than gravity. And that's when we say mind can move matter.
True. So true. And with the word easy, I think I meant possible, because a coach like you would go all the way and have you all the way and not let you fall anywhere, because we cannot see what we cannot see. We need someone else to support us on the way we want to go. So I freaking love it. And I love that you don't try to put it in a box or pack it in or say, it's gonna be joyful, easy ride, because change is never easy, but it's worth it rather than stay where we were.
Yeah, but and this is also, again, it's all about, it isn't, I love you just as much if you don't want it. I don't care. I don't mind if you believe in something else or if you are doing half-heart. I don't mind. I love you you're human. You're a human being, and I love you for who you are. But I'm also a coach. So that means if you want to move, I only take in people that I know I can move, which is why I get my reputation. And I don't take people in that wants an easy ride, because success is not a comfortable procedure. It's just not. It's not. It's not comfortable to break your own boundaries. It's not comfortable to say goodbye to things that you fucking love that's draining you. It's not comfortable. And that's why I do a lot of work on myself. So I have to have empathy for these people that I'm coaching. I need to feel their pain so I can look them in the eye and say, yeah, I told you, I know this. And yeah, I think it's so life confirming for me.
True. So true. I love to hear it. And also the point that you don't take in everybody. Everybody is allowed to be in the world, but we cannot be for everybody. I had a bumpy ride on that, because my old self were like, okay, if I can do it, anyone else can do it. So I just took in all that wanted to be in my space, which kind of blew me off my way. But everything happens for a reason, and I definitely had a learning with it. But my question is, how come? What is your passion here? That I know you could just do nothing if you wanted to. You will have that ability to just don't want to do anything today. But you go up day after day after day, every day, sing every single freaking day. That
Yeah.
passion, what is it?
Yeah, that drive. It's called purpose driven. I'm purpose driven. I found my purpose. Um, I found my purpose by going on all kinds of different wrong paths, which I had to do. And I love Buddha. Buddha says, if you find me on your path, you're going the wrong way. So I've been on every path that I had to take to come to the conclusion. And my purpose is literally to every time I go out of bed, I wake up to inspire other people to be better than they were yesterday. That's my purpose. I'm so in love with it. And I'm so blessed that I get the chance to do that, which means I also have to do it myself. And where that is from, I believe that's a culmination of all my life experience and the potential I've seen in myself. And uh, because we're all a result of the programming we get in our younger years. When a child is born from 0 to 6 years old, it's like an open book. It's a clean sheet of paper. And the story that you write, the narrative you give yourself is dictated by all the authorities around you. So the only thing you can do when you're between 0 and 6 years old is do what others are doing that are close to you, to think what they are thinking, to feel what they are feeling. That's the only thing you can do. And that is your environment. And I compare it with if you take a shark, a baby shark, but it's a shark that can grow potentially up to 4 meters long. But if you take that baby shark into a smaller, what do you call that in English? What is the word when you put it into it? Let's just call it small swimming pool, whatever, a container, a small container. And that container only allows it to grow 1.5 meters. That shark won't grow. It will only grow so it adapts to its physical environment. All right. And the same goes with humans. And we will adapt to our belief systems. Our belief system is the illusion we have as a container. So what I really love is to break down those limiting beliefs in people. And, instead of listening to all the things we heard all our life is that you're not good enough, you can't do that, that's dangerous, that's boom, that's that. I believe in why not think and believe in the sky's the limit. And I call it no limit thinking. And that's what I'm teaching people.
Mm-hmm. I truly, truly love it. I said that word a lot this podcast, but I think it's gold. And I could go on and ask you a ton of questions, but
Shoot.
we don't got all day. Maybe another podcast episode someday. But anyways, I know that the book you just wrote just 2 weeks ago, I think it launched.
Yeah.
It is not your first book. So what is next?
What is next? Well, I'm committed to be the best coach in the world. And I'm also committed to build a billion-dollar coaching business. So what is next is for me is to get the chance to get in front of as many people as I can and use my skills and my passion and my spirituality and my soul to leverage them to get to where they want to go. Usually when I take in a new client, my schedule is busy. When I take in a new client, I always ask them almost the same questions, but of course not always. But I ask them, so what do you really want? What is it that you want? Let's get it. Let's create it. I don't care what you want. Let's get it. And people are shocked. What do you mean? Let's get it. And that's what I mean. So I really ask them what they want. So the next for me is to get myself on an international stage, which is why right now we are in a lot of podcasts in England and America, which is why my book is right now. It's actually ranking in a lot of categories in Amazon right now in the top hundreds in America. So that's great. I'm writing a book together with the founder of Reebok. It's coming out in December. It's called Survive and Thrive. I'm heading to America. I have a PR agency in San Diego I'm going to meet up with. We have a conversation tonight. So I'm going to go to America to meet a lot of amazing people over there and learn a lot from them. I need to learn a lot. I'm still just a kid in this industry. And I see myself as a student forever. I'm still just a kid. I have so much to learn. And America is definitely a market where I believe I'm home. So my next big shot is that I'm going to go to America 3 weeks and be home with my daughter for 1 week, go to America 3 weeks. And when she gets old enough, hopefully I can persuade mom and her to go with me there. Let's see. But we will think about it. We'll see what happens. But that's my next big thing. And then keep writing books, Mike. I really love writing books. I'm writing my next book right now. And I believe the title will be Forget Yesterday. Which is a lot about thinking. I teach people to think at their best. Because we are a result of what we think over and over again. That's the beauty with people. And if frustrated is a wrong word, I'm so fascinated But also I understand why the capitalistic system has not chosen to teach us these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have clients that comes to me with 10 years of depression and I cure them in 2 hours just by changing their perspective. I'll give you a good story. I had a client which, you know, she had a husband that was drinking a little bit too much. And she was a C-level, a high-ranked CEO, which is typically who I coach. I coach business owners, business leaders, or at least highly driven, motivated people. And she came to me and she spent 20 minutes talking about her husband. And she kept saying that. I said, okay, tell me, what's going on in your life? And she told me that he's always not on time. He doesn't live up to his appointments. He smells bad. You know, he's not going into shower. He can't fucking, you know, he's making a laugh out of me. He's fucking crazy, she said. And I said, let's just define crazy. And now here I had to really think, well, how can I have her to see things clear? And I quickly caught it and I said, listen, let me just define crazy. So you're telling me that your husband is drinking too much. All right. She said he was a drunk. And you say he's a drunk. You say he smells bad, you know, his bad breath. He doesn't take a shower. He doesn't live up to his promises, you know, and you say this and that. I said, well, he does exactly what a fucking drunk is supposed to do. He is a drunk. He does what a drunk does. I think the crazy one here is you thinking him as a sober, expecting him to be sober. You got to see him for what he is. So you're the crazy one. So you're crazy. Either you accept to stay with a drunk or leave a drunk. You can't stay with a drunk expecting him to be sober. That will make you crazy. And that changed her. That conversation changed her. And that's what I've been so fortunate to be good at, to change people's perspective quite quick.
I'll say it again. I love it. I truly
Cool. I'm happy for that.
Because people can be good at different things, but it feels like I know who you are for a time now, and it feels like you are fast, not just a fast talker, fast mover, but also fast at changing both yourself and of course those who are surrounded by you. So that could also be another question for me, actually. Your surroundings, that I know it's an experience for myself too, but was it easy for you when you realized, okay, it's my surroundings that are holding me back, I should change that? Was it an easy ride for you? Silly question, but
Yeah. No, I realized actually, Mike, it was me holding me back. It was me staying in that environment. There was nothing wrong with the environment. The environment was what it was.
true.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It did exactly what it should do. Party, blah, 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 blah. That was that. I was just not there because I wasn't where I wanted to go. So what is it easy for me? Yeah, it was very easy. It was very easy, but it took me a long time to get to the point that my soul or my higher self spoke to me. I believe we all have an inner greatness, right? And that inner greatness is what it already knows is connected with the unlimited intelligence, as I call it. And that's the one that gives you that little thought saying, meditate, you should meditate. Or it's the first thought is your intuition, right? Your higher self is your intuition. And that's the one saying, this is not the right place for you. Or it's the one saying you shouldn't be buying that pizza every single fucking night. You should be eating more veggies, drink more water. We already know. We actually don't need to hear this from anywhere. We know. But, you know, the disconnection from your higher self and you can say your conscious self can be so distant if you haven't trained yourself to listen to it. So the way you train that, I see, is by become more self-aware and using your willpower. That's the two things, self-aware and willpower. And I was so far away that I wasn't self-aware. I didn't know who I was, lost. So I tried to be as when I was a kid. So I believe every single person at one point in our life, the quicker we can do this and make a decision, we can take a new decision next week, or we can actually take a new decision every fucking minute, because there's nothing committing you to be who you were 1 minute ago. Nothing. You can change nothing in a heartbeat, as Tony Robbins says. But the faster we can sit down and get some tools, some thought process tools, some perspective tools to make us capable of taking that decision. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Because in the end, Mike, I am is exactly just that. So if I am a beggar, if I am a thief, if I am wealthy, if I am unhealthy, whatever I put on, I am afterwards. Well, that I become, but I am is the essence of our being. So we just are. The rest is something we tell ourselves. So why not tell ourselves that I am good, I am loving, I am, all these great things. And we tell these things to ourselves over and over again, and then our actions will reflect in it.
True, so true. When we believe it, I want to say.
Right. Yeah. So you see it when you believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I've seen, I truly, truly believe that, of course, what you say is true, but also that I can tell myself a lot of stuff, but if I don't believe it internally, that's also what you teach. That's why I ask. When I
Yeah.
don't believe it internally, it will not happen. So it's not until that I truly believe what I tell myself is true, it will become true. So that's it.
No.
I see that as for some people it can be a tricky point because we want to see it before we believe it, but it's the opposite way around.
Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer. I love this guy. I
Yeah.
love this guy. He said that. Yeah, but you're right. And the question, $1 million question, how do I believe in stuff?
Yeah.
How do I believe in stuff? So you are one big antenna, right? So your environment makes you believe, your radio channel makes you believe, your thoughts makes you believe, your emotions makes you believe for sure. I can give you a good example. So I've had a lot of anxiety and stress symptoms, but when you are anxious, all your blood goes to your bigger organs. When you get anxious, this is a survival mechanism. Like, get to the big organs. He's about to die. So that's what happens. So you feel cold when you get anxious. So it's also the other way around. So when I am cold, my body is a feedback loop, sends a feedback to my brain. Hey, you're cold. My brain then says, oh, you must be anxious. And now I think I'm anxious, but I'm just fucking cold. So how do we change our belief? Well, it's that it will demand you to do some mental training. It will demand you to do some exercises. And your subconscious mind is what actually controls you a lot. So how you get all your belief systems, your habits, your self-image, your self-narrative, and your whatever attitude you have is in your subconscious mind. The way it gets down there is by repeating things over and over again and connecting an emotion with it. Because have you ever tried virtual reality? You probably have. You tried to put on some goggles and then you're in another world.
Yeah.
So I've tried a game which is a boxing game. I've tried a golf game. I've also tried to go on 200 floors and step out on this skinny little metal thing, and you just look down and you shit yourself, literally. And you're in the living room, but everything in me starts. I literally stand in my living room and I'm looking down and I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I believe I'm there. And why is that? And that's because your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference from, reality and fantasy when a thought and an emotion is in play. All right. So that's why I teach people a lot to start to see themselves as they want, see themselves, use music to take emotions together with your images. And I train them to do that. As soon as you have, let's say you sit down and I give you some good guidance on how to see the best version of yourself. All right. Let's see, I guide you well in that and you see it. And now I put on your favorite music. Boom. I can tell you that from that day on, that music will get the best version out of you. So the same thing when you were depressed, I have a song, Backstreet Boys, um, Tony Braxton, even worse, Don't Unbreak My Heart. Oh, that. And I had some terrible experiences when I was a teenager, right? That Unbreak My Heart. I was so hard crushed. When I listen to that song, I get straight back to that moment in my mind and I get depressed. I get sad. So emotions is so powerful.
They are all, I believe. I can totally recognize it just by you saying it. I'm just already back in my past and in my future. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. And I think the listener will definitely get some points from this too. And I think, I don't know how to say this, but there's truly, truly no limit in it. And the only thing I believe that the only thing that can hold us back is the thought of the past. It's not even the past, it's just the thought. So
It's the
by,
fear. The fear.
yeah, fear, you can call it fear. And by you choosing the focus, it's not a do it once and it's done show. It's you are if people follow you, they will know you are truly doing this every day, but it's a daily repeat of what do you truly want and what is your focus? So what I say to people is that if you have been going down the same path with your car your whole life, of course you cannot just jump to another path and think your car will stay there. It will automatically try to drift back because it's a deep pull in that way. So you can focus on the other way. What I'm trying to say here is just that focus is everything. One thing is the thought, but your focus is the shifter here. And I truly believe that you are a great example of that.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Yeah, absolute focus is everything. But again, belief is really important, because, the law of mind says that, a man, and this is an old saying, so man means humans, and man can only act, behave, speak, think, and feel as he believes he is.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's how it is. So, for example, let's say that I meet you, we're colleagues. For example, we're colleagues, and in your past, you've been doubting yourself. Maybe you felt a little ugly at some point. We all did that. And I still do that once in a while. So that's normal. And then you have a colleague saying, you look like shit today. And, and you get, fuck you, because you believe in it.
Mm.
But if I told you look like a blue car today, you'd be looking, you wouldn't care because you're not a blue car.
Mm.
All right. So there's an old saying, what I see, I forget. What I hear, I remember. But what I do, I know. What I do, I know. So that's also why, in the Bible, for example, again, I didn't grow up in any religious beliefs. I just investigated spirituality. I've just been studying so many old things, both from the East and the West and the fucking out of this universe. And it all makes sense to me today, which makes me capable of explaining quite complex things in easy matters. But it says in the Bible, what a man thinketh in his heart, so he is, which is also why I say, when you make a commitment and you take that commitment into your heart, you're on your path. Mm-hmm. You're on your path. And that's the best way you can change your belief system, is by making up your mind of who you want to be. And just ask people, can you at least pretend you are that person? Just try to pretend. Pretend all day fucking long you're that person. And then people will be like, oh, no, it's important. Then my family will look at me. They don't know me. They ask me, who do you think you are? I'll say, okay, just pretend they don't matter then. Just keep pretending. And when people do that for just 2-3 hours in a day, they realize, oh my God, I've been pretending I was the old version of me. Yeah, you're just pretending. Because I am is just what it is. The rest is something you believe. So at least just pretend you are loving. Pretend that you are forgiven. Pretend until you believe in it. That's why they say fake it till you make it.
True. And there's a lot of levels of that, but I know I'm a blah, blah, blah. Cut. Take two. I'm an example of that. And that was the past me just saying that.
I got it. Yeah.
But definitely know that we can become everything we want, and it's just that stupid little brain who are tripping and overthinking and not
protecting you.
Yeah,
it's pure survival. Think about this: 200,000 for 200,000 years, our brain has not changed. Mm-hmm. Just understand that. All right. So 200,000 years. Most people don't even live 100 years. This is a lot of years. For humans, at least. So 200,000 years ago, waking up as a human was a little bit more rough than it is today. So the reason why we are sitting here and can have this podcast is thanks to that survival mechanism that makes us fear most, makes us afraid of not being accepted. The afraidness of not being accepted, or the afraidness of people not liking us, that is also a survival mechanism. Because 200,000 years ago, if people didn't like you, would be dead.
Yeah.
You would be dead. You're out in the forest with all these sick monsters there was at that time. So when I realized that it's every time I fear something, I'm conscious in it. I know, it's just my body trying to protect me, but there's nothing to be afraid of. So I get used to breaking my fears so often. I face them. Just fucking bring it. I face them so often, so that has become a habit for me. So, so to really go for whatever you want in life. And some people want to, whatever people want to do, I'm happy for you. If you do what you like, I'm happy for you. And if you do what you like because you tell yourself you like it because you're scared of actually doing what you like, I will catch you in it. I will catch you and I will rip you apart and show you who you could be. So that's my job. But in the end, if we make a habit of trying to just be a little better than yesterday, or just be a little better than yesterday, okay? But that demands us to define what is good. Okay, I want to be a little bit better than yesterday. Better compared to what? So it's all about taking the unconscious into a conscious level so you can see it. So real change happens when you have something to look forward to. You can see, oh, that's where I need to go, right? That's where I need to go. But I usually say that, the best versions of ourselves is right here. Now I have my finger in front of my nose and, I can't see it. If you put your finger up here, you can't fucking see it. So the best version of yourself, you need to put that out so you can see it, so you can aim for it. Yeah.
That is so true. So true. And there's always a new level, always a new level. And it is uncomfortable growing, but we do
Yeah.
not die. We are not dead. So,
No, that's so true. That's so true. I believe we die more by not doing it.
yeah.
The comfort crisis. I think the world has never been more ill mentally. And it could also be because they heard so much in the media. I believe, for example, stress. When Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, he was building his first company in the 50s, the word stress didn't even exist. So people weren't stressed. Anyway, so we're living in a world, I believe the comfort that we are having right now in this world is making us all so unhappy. It's too comfortable. You don't even have to go shopping anywhere. You don't even have to go speak with anyone. You don't even have to break your own boundaries. You can sit at home and get everything served. Your food is served. Your shopping is served. Your social life is served with an AI bot. Everything is so comfortable that on that comfortable level makes us unhappy. I believe in that.
I agree. I totally agree. And it's another thing when we go from a point where we do not want to be, where we have when we are under the floor, if you want to say so.
Yeah.
For me, it's easier to change because I do not want to be there. But going from good to great, that's another whole different.
Yeah. And the language of, let's just say the language of winning, that's a language you need to understand. And it's so unforgiving. It's so nasty. It's so tough. And it's so undeniable. You win and then it's gone. Or
Yeah.
you think you win and then it's fucking gone. You have to wake up again. And that is what you got to kind of fall in love in. And, I've been studying a lot of these big personalities. I've shaken hands with multi-billionaires. I've shaken hands with Hollywood stars. I've met so many people to give me so much perspective. And one thing that I really see is that, to really get what you want in life, you got to get ready to a bumpy ride. And you got to get comfortable with it. I must admit, I love when it's uncomfortable. I literally love when it's uncomfortable. I don't like when it's too comfortable. I don't. So of course I have comfortable time in my life, and I'm comfortable right now, for example. But I like to break those comfortable levels, and that's going to be a big part of your growth.
True. So true. When we're comfortable, it feels like the new alert system. Something's wrong. Why am I not growing? Why am I comfortable here?
Yeah, that's true.
So I love that you said it because that is truly a fact. You gotta love that game of growth, I want to call it.
Yeah.
And my brain is just popping. I could go so many words, but
Go.
I would definitely love to just continue because I believe that, as you just mentioned, that you have been shaking hands with multi-billionaires and so on. That is where magic can happen because you get that perspective of them and the surroundings and the environment. And that is also what I want from the listeners in this show, is just to pick your brain to see who are you, why are you the way you are, and what is going on, and so on. So I just want to let the show on your side actually and say, is there one crucial thing? I know there's a lot, but is there one final thing you want to say to the listener to really shake them up more than you already did?
Yeah, no, listen, I think everyone is exactly where they should be. Everyone is exactly where they should be, and everyone is exactly as good as anyone else because you are a human. But we do have something inside of that is called our inner greatness. We do have some ambitions, and we have 4,500 weeks from the day we're here until we're gone. So if you're in your mid-40s right now, well, you're halfway. And I do believe that suffering is created for us to find a higher purpose. So that's why we say that life is actually hell. is heaven and hell, heaven and earth, heaven and hell. So it's both. We're not going above the clouds to go to heaven. Heaven is inside of you right now. It's inside of you right now. Hell is inside of you right now. It's there. And I believe that if you want to go to heaven, you have to do the suffering to get there. And what I mean about that is that you don't have to change if you don't want to. Literally, you don't have to. And if you at some point are in your life where you feel you're not feeling good, I think the worst feeling is feeling nothing. Feeling bad is worse to feel nothing than feeling bad. All right. So I believe that as soon as you wake up and you feel like, wow, I want to change. I want to go to somewhere. I want to do this. I want to become a yoga trainer, or I want to travel the world, or I want a new girlfriend, or I want a new car, whatever that could be. Then try for at least once in your life. You don't have to try it ever again. Just once, go all fucking in, like risk it all, all in, like commit to feel and taste what that is. Because I guarantee you, when you do it once, you're hooked. You're hooked. But many people avoid that. So at least once in your life, better earlier than later, because you will be physical incapable later in life to do a lot of stuff. So at least once in your life, choose one thing when you go insanely all in. And that will be, if you do that, I think you lived life. You tried it at least.
At least tried it. And that's the best we can do. I think that is a very good answer to this podcast episode. And I don't want to add so much more words to that, because I could not agree more. You will get hooked. You will get a new addiction, maybe a healthier addiction that you got before, but everything is a choice. Everything.
Yeah.
We choose ourselves. So it's a free choice, and that can maybe give a little relief for some people to say, okay, I choose to be where I want to be.
Yeah. And if you have chosen that, then it's good. But I believe that 95% of people haven't chosen.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't. They haven't chosen. They have been put there. And then they believe that's their spot for the rest of their lives. But it's not. So the day you make a choice of where you want to be in your life and you go all in on that, whether that's a new car, a new girlfriend, whatever, then you made a conscious choice. And that's where you woke up.
True. And it's never too late.
Never.
Cool. I just want to say thank you so much for this podcast. It was truly a joy. And I think we will see you out there in the future.
Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you for your kindness. And thank you for all your words. And I hope the listeners got what they came for.
Agree.
Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you all so much. So remember to subscribe if you are new on here. You came across this site for a reason, and there is no such thing as a coincidence, and I know you know. So feel free to join my free group over on Facebook. It's called the Spiritual Millionaire Coaches with Mike and Larsen. So you should be able to find it, or else you can just reach out to me wherever you find me. Over there though, we share a lot more about this spiritual business and abundance and how to tap into this millionaire mindset, and also master manifestation. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope it got you on fire, that you got into your badass business, that you fired up your spiritual body and are ready to spark and never ever dim your light again. Go do your thing and see you again in our next episode.